Good evening, my dear. I'm your future self. And tonight, you will fall asleep with me as I gently guide you toward rest. I know that voice surprises you. I know it feels strange to hear me, to hear yourself from some point ahead, reaching back through time to sit beside you in this quiet. But I want you to stay with the strangeness for a moment, because it is not as strange as it first seems. You think about me more than you realize. Every time you wonder whether the choice you are making is right, every time you ask yourself whether the path you are on is leading somewhere worth going, every time you imagine the person you hope to become and measure the distance between that person and who you are now, you are thinking about me. I am the version of you that exists on the other side of the work you are doing, the struggles you are navigating, the nights like this one, when you are tired in the particular way that comes from genuinely caring about your life, from genuinely trying, from genuinely showing up to something that is not yet finished, but that you have not stopped believing in. I have come back to this moment, this specific, quiet, important moment in which you are lying here preparing to sleep, because I want to tell you something that I wish someone had told me when I was where you are now. Something about sleep, something about rest, something about what these hours actually are in the larger story of what you are becoming. And the first thing I want to tell you is this: the nights you slept well were never wasted. Not one of them. From where I stand, looking back at the journey that brought me here, I can see things that you cannot see yet. The connections between choices that seemed unrelated, the importance of things that seemed minor, the long reach of what happened in the quiet hours when nothing seemed to be happening at all. And one of the clearest things I can see is that the nights of genuine rest, the nights when you truly let go, when you slept deeply and completely, when you gave your body and your mind the restoration they were asking for. These nights were not gaps in the story. They were the story. They were the nights when the version of me that exists now was being quietly assembled, cell by cell, synapse by synapse, decision by decision, by a biology that understood what you were becoming long before your conscious mind had articulated the intention. Let me tell you something that I know now from the perspective of time about the relationship between sleep and becoming, because I think it is one of the least understood and most important relationships in a human life. When scientists study how people change, how we develop new skills, integrate new understanding, shift the patterns of thought and behavior that define who we are, they consistently find something counterintuitive. The most significant changes happen not during the active periods of practice and effort, but during the rest that follows them. This is called offline consolidation, the process by which the brain takes what was practiced and makes it genuinely its own. Not just stored, but integrated. Not just remembered, but restructured into the architecture of who you are. When you learn a new skill, a physical skill like a sport or an instrument, or a cognitive skill like a language or a way of thinking, your performance actually improves after a night of sleep without any additional practice. The sleep itself is doing work. The rest itself is building capability. During slow wave sleep, the deep, physically restorative phases, your hippocampus replays the day's experiences to your cortex, transferring memories from short-term storage to long-term integration. The things you thought about today, the things you tried today, the things you felt and understood and struggled with, all of these are being woven into the permanent fabric of who you are. Tonight, in this bed, while you sleep. During REM sleep, the dreaming phases, something even more remarkable happens. Your brain begins making connections between things that your waking mind would never think to connect. Distant associations, unexpected parallels, solutions to problems you have been circling that suddenly become obvious because your dreaming brain approached them from a direction that your analytical mind would have considered irrelevant. The insight that arrives in the morning, clear, complete, available, was assembled during the night by a mind that was supposedly not working, by a process that your culture sometimes calls doing nothing. But it was not doing nothing. It was doing the most sophisticated thing your brain is capable of, building the connections that make you genuinely more capable tomorrow than you were yesterday. From where I stand, I can tell you that this is true in ways that go far beyond what you can currently measure. The version of me that exists now, the clarity, the capability, the perspective I carry, was built in the sleeping hours as much as in the waking ones. Every night of genuine rest was a night of genuine becoming. I want to speak to you now about something I wish I had understood much earlier in the journey. Something about the relationship between effort and patience that took me a long time to fully grasp. From where you are standing, the gap between who you are now and who you want to be can sometimes look enormous. The distance between the current version and the version you are working toward can feel discouraging. Not because you are not making progress, but because the progress is happening at a speed that does not always satisfy the urgency you feel about getting there. I want to tell you something about this urgency, something I learned only after I had spent years in the grip of it. The urgency is not your friend. Not because the things you want do not matter. They do matter, and they are worth wanting. But because the urgent approach to becoming tends to skip the very steps that make the becoming real rather than performed. The person who rushes toward becoming someone different often creates a performance of that person rather than actually becoming them. They adopt the vocabulary, the habits, the external markers, without doing the slow, unglamorous internal work that genuine transformation actually requires. And the internal work, the real work, happens largely in the quiet, in the reflection, in the sleep, in the spaces between the urgent doing, where the doing actually settles into being. My advice to you, from the position of having arrived somewhere you are still trying to reach, is to trust the pace of genuine change. Not because it is comfortable, it is often not comfortable, but because the things that form slowly are the things that hold. The understanding that arrives gradually through repeated encounter with the same question from different angles, through sitting with confusion long enough for clarity to emerge naturally. This understanding is yours in a way that the understanding you rush toward never is. And sleep is one of the most powerful allies of this kind of slow, genuine, holding change. Because sleep is where the gradual becomes integrated, where the repeated practice becomes natural, where the quality you have been consciously cultivating begins to express itself unconsciously, not as something you are trying to do, but as something you simply are. Tonight, trust the pace. Trust that what you cannot yet see is happening. Trust that the version of you that lies down to rest tonight will wake up tomorrow, incrementally, invisibly, genuinely more of the person you are becoming. Let me tell you about a specific thing that I have learned about the quality of rest. Something that took me time to understand and that I want to offer you now as a practical, usable piece of wisdom. There is a difference between resting and recovering, and the difference matters enormously. Recovering is what happens when rest is simply the cessation of activity. When you stop doing things, but you do not actually release the doing. When you lie down, but continue to plan. When you close your eyes, but continue to monitor. When the body is horizontal, but the mind is still standing, still working, still carrying everything it carried through the day. This kind of rest, which is really just quiet activity, does some good. It is better than not stopping at all. But it does not produce the depth of restoration that genuine rest produces. It does not reach the places that genuine sleep reaches. Genuine rest is something more complete. It is the actual release of the day, not its suspension, not its postponement, but its genuine closure. The recognition in the body and the mind together that today is finished. Not finished in the sense of being resolved or completed, but finished in the sense of being done for now, of having received everything from you that today required, and of no longer needing your active participation. This closure, this genuine ending, is what allows the kind of sleep that produces the kind of morning that you have glimpsed in your best days. The mornings when you wake feeling not just rested, but somehow more capable than you were the night before. More clear, more grounded, with a sense that something shifted in the night, that some knot loosened, some tension resolved, some question found its answer without your having consciously worked on it. These mornings are what genuine rest produces, and genuine rest requires the genuine ending of today. Not the dramatic ending, not the announcement or the ritual or the deliberate ceremony, just the quiet internal recognition. Today is complete. I have given it what I had, and now I am releasing it, completely without reservation, into the past where it belongs. I am telling you this because from where I stand, I can see how many nights were spent in recovery when they could have been spent in genuine rest. How many mornings were simply the continuation of the night before, rather than the fresh beginning they could have been. And I want you to have more of the genuine rest, more of the actual mornings, more of the days that begin from a place of genuine renewal, rather than the continuation of accumulated fatigue. Here is something I want to tell you about the people in your life. Something that the passage of time makes clear in ways that are difficult to see from inside the middle of relationships. The quality of your presence in the lives of the people you care about is determined more by the quality of your rest than by the quantity of time you spend with them. This is not obvious when you are living it. When you are exhausted, the way to feel like a better parent, partner, friend, often seems to be to do more, to spend more time, to try harder, to compensate through effort for the flatness and irritability that exhaustion produces. But from where I am, looking back at the accumulated texture of relationships, I can tell you that the people who loved you did not primarily need more of your time. They needed more of your genuine presence. And genuine presence requires genuine rest. The rested version of you, the one who slept well and woke genuinely renewed, was more patient, more curious, more generous, more capable of actually hearing what the other person was saying rather than processing it through the filter of exhaustion. The rested you was more available for the unscripted moments, the conversation that went somewhere unexpected, the question that revealed something important, the simple, ordinary, irreplaceable experience of being genuinely together with someone who matters. These moments, which are the actual substance of relationships, not the grand gestures or the carefully planned occasions, require a quality of attention that exhaustion makes almost impossible. And sleep is how you protect the capacity for that attention. My advice, from the perspective of time, is to understand sleep not as something you do for yourself alone, but as the practice by which you protect your capacity to be genuinely available to the people and the life you love. You are not sleeping instead of showing up. You are sleeping so that when you show up, you actually show up. All of you, present, available, genuinely there. I want to tell you about something that took me a long time to learn, and that I want you to learn sooner, because it would have changed many things. I spent years treating rest as earned, as something I was allowed only after I had done enough, produced enough, achieved enough, resolved enough, helped enough. As something I had to justify to myself, to some internal judge who was always present, always evaluating, always ready to find the rest premature. And the result of this, the result of years of rest that was always conditional, always contingent, always slightly guilty, was not more achievement. It was not greater productivity or greater contribution. It was a chronic tiredness that sat underneath everything like background noise, manageable usually, but never fully gone. A tiredness that made everything harder than it needed to be. What I know now, and what I want you to know now, while there is still so much ahead of you, is that rest is not earned. Rest is not a reward for sufficient effort. Rest is a biological necessity that does not negotiate with your productivity metrics or your sense of whether you have done enough. Your body needs sleep the way it needs water, not because you have earned it, but because you are a biological organism that cannot function without it. The heart does not earn its rest between beats. The lungs do not earn the pause between exhale and inhale. These rests are built into the structure of the system, not as rewards, but as requirements. And your nightly sleep is the same. It is built into the structure of the human organism, not as something you access when you have sufficiently justified it, but as something your biology requires, with the same indifference to your sense of merit as it requires food and water. The permission to rest tonight does not depend on how productive you were today. It does not depend on whether you handled everything well, or left things undone, or failed to measure up to the standard you hold yourself to. It depends only on the fact that you have a body, a human body with human requirements. And that body requires sleep tonight with complete indifference to the day's accounting. Give yourself the rest your body needs, not because you have earned it, because you need it. And because the version of you I am, the one you are working toward, was built on nights when this permission was given freely, without negotiation, without the internal judge's approval. There's something I want to share with you about the nature of identity, about who you are and who you are becoming, that changed the way I understood my own relationship to time and change. There is a philosophical puzzle called the Ship of Theseus. Theseus had a ship, a famous ship, preserved in a harbor as a monument. And as its planks rotted, they were replaced, one by one, with new planks of the same design. Eventually, every original plank had been replaced. Every nail, every beam, every sail. The ship was physically entirely new. Not a single original molecule remained. And yet, it was still called the Ship of Theseus, still honored as the same ship. The question the puzzle asks is, was it the same ship? And the deeper question, the one I am interested in tonight, is, are you the same person you were 10 years ago? Your cells have been replaced. Your beliefs have shifted. Your priorities have changed. The things that once seemed essential now seem less so. The things that once seemed minor have revealed their importance. You are the ship of Theseus, changed entirely in some ways, continuous in others. The same name attached to something that is both the original and its complete renovation. And here is what this means for tonight. The person who wakes tomorrow morning will be, in tiny but real ways, different from the person who fell asleep tonight. Not dramatically different, not visibly different, but different in the ways that matter, in the microscopic adjustments of the neural architecture, in the subtle shifts of hormonal balance, in the quiet integration of today's experience into the fabric of the self. You are being renovated tonight, plank by plank. The sleep you take tonight is replacing what today wore out with something new, something that serves the same function but is fresher, stronger, better maintained. You will still be you in the morning, but you will be a slightly better version of you. One night's worth of renovation closer to the version of you I am. I want to speak to you now about something that surprised me when I arrived here. Something about what the future actually feels like from inside it that is quite different from what it looks like from where you are. From where you stand, the future can seem like a destination, a fixed point that you are traveling toward, that exists somewhere ahead of you, waiting to be reached. And this makes the present feel like a corridor, a transitional space, useful mainly as the route to the destination, worth enduring because of what it leads to. But from where I stand, from inside what was once your future, I can tell you that this is not quite right. The future does not feel like an arrival. It feels like continuation, the same present moment experience you have now, just with different circumstances, different questions, different challenges. The happiness you are postponing until you arrive is not in the arriving. It is here, in the way you move through the journey, in the quality of attention you bring to each day, in the relationships you tend, and the rest you take, and the small, consistent, unremarkable choices that turn out, in retrospect, to have been the most important things. I'm not telling you that effort does not matter. It does matter, and the work you are doing is real. I am telling you that the future you are working toward will feel a great deal like the present you are experiencing now. And this means that the quality of your present, the quality of your daily experience, your daily rest, your daily relationships, your daily engagement with your own life is not something to be sacrificed for the future. It is the future. It is already the life you are living. So sleep well tonight, not only because tomorrow's version of you will benefit. Sleep well tonight because tonight is your life. This actual, present, irreplaceable night. And it deserves the same quality of care that you would give to any night if you knew how important it was. And it is important. Every night is important. Every night of genuine rest is a night of genuinely living well. Let me tell you about something I have observed from the vantage point of time. Something about the decisions that mattered most, that had the most lasting effect on the shape of the life I am living now. Some of them were the ones you would expect, the big, deliberate, conscious choices. The choice of what to pursue, the choice of who to commit to, the choice of what to walk away from when walking away was genuinely the right thing. But many of the most important ones were not the dramatic choices. They were the quiet, daily, seemingly minor ones. The choices about how to treat yourself, about whether to honor your own needs with the same seriousness you gave to the needs of others. The choice to rest when rest was needed, rather than pushing through because pushing through felt more virtuous. The choice to sleep when sleep was available, rather than staying awake for reasons that felt urgent in the moment, but turned out to matter very little. These quiet choices, repeated over months and years, accumulated into something significant. They built the foundation of consistency, the stable, reliable, well-maintained platform from which the larger choices could be made well. A person who is chronically exhausted does not make the same choices as a person who is consistently rested. Not because exhausted people are less capable, but because exhaustion alters perception. It makes threats look larger and opportunities look smaller. It makes the familiar seem safer than it is, and the new seem riskier than it is. It makes the conversation you should have seem too hard, and the one you should avoid seem like the easier path. The rested version of you navigates toward the life you want. The exhausted version of you navigates toward the familiar, toward what requires the least effort in this moment, regardless of whether it serves you. From where I stand, having watched both versions at work, I can tell you that the single most reliable investment you can make in the quality of your decisions, and therefore in the shape of your life, is in the quality of your sleep. Not because sleep solves everything, but because the rested mind brings its best capacities to every problem. And the best capacities are what every important decision deserves. I want to give you now a piece of advice about something that I know is difficult, that was difficult for me, that takes time and practice and patience, but that makes an enormous difference in the experience of being alive. Learn to trust the process of your own development, even when you cannot see the progress. There will be periods, and if you are honest, you are probably aware of several right now, when the effort you are putting in does not seem to be producing visible results. When you are working hard and growing genuinely, but the growth is not yet manifest in ways that you or others can easily measure. These periods are not failures. They are the most important periods, the ones in which the foundation is being laid, the ones in which the invisible work that makes the visible results possible is quietly being done. Bamboo is a useful image here. Certain species of bamboo spend years, sometimes 4 or 5 years, developing their root system before they produce a single shoot above the ground. From the outside, nothing appears to be happening. An observer with no knowledge of the process would conclude that nothing is growing. And then, in a single season, the bamboo can grow 60 to 90 feet, not because it suddenly started growing, but because it had spent years building the root system capable of supporting that growth. The apparent inactivity was the most productive phase. The invisible work was the most important work. You are in a bamboo phase of something right now. I can tell you this from where I stand because I can see the roots, the invisible growth that the surface does not yet show. The nights of genuine rest are part of those roots. The consistent showing up is part of those roots. The quiet, unremarked, unsexy daily practice of living with intention is part of those roots. Trust the roots. Trust the underground work. Trust that the season of visible growth will come, not because you forced it, but because you laid the foundation for it in exactly the way you are laying it now. Here is something about the future that I think will help you rest more easily. Not at tonight, but in general. The future is not waiting for you to be ready. This is both more frightening and more liberating than it first sounds. The version of me that exists now, the version you are working toward, did not arrive when it forced ready, did not step into the next phase of life because it had fully prepared, because all the conditions were finally right, because the uncertainty had been resolved and the path had become clear. It arrived because the moment came and there was no option but to meet it, with whatever was available at the time, with whatever strength had been built, with the imperfect, incomplete, genuinely in progress version of the self that was present when the mome about ours. Readiness, I have learned, is not a state you achieve. It is a quality you bring to what is already happening. And the quality of readiness, the genuine capability to meet what comes, is built not in the frantic preparation, but in the consistent practice of living well, which includes, centrally, the consistent practice of resting well. The person who sleeps consistently and genuinely is more ready for what comes than the person who stays awake preparing. Not because the sleeping person has done more preparation, but because readiness is a quality of the whole person, of the rested body and the restored mind, of the emotional resilience that only genuine rest sustains. You are preparing for the future right now, in exactly this way, in exactly this act of rest. I want to speak to you about something that is perhaps the most personal thing I can offer. Something about the experience of looking back at the journey from inside the destination. When you are in the middle of difficult periods, the stretches of time when things are harder than you expected, when the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels discouraging rather than motivating, it is almost impossible to believe that these periods will look different from a distance. But they do. From where I stand, the difficult periods look different. Not easier. I do not want to be dishonest about that. The difficulty was real. The struggle was real. But from a distance, the difficult periods reveal their function in a way that is genuinely invisible from inside them. The ways they built what could not have been built any other way. The qualities they developed that the easier paths would not have. The clarity they eventually produced about what actually mattered. and the nights that got you through them. The nights of genuine, protected, unapologetic rest. Those nights were not escapes from the difficulty. They were the fuel that made meeting the difficulty possible. Every night of good sleep in a hard period was an act of genuine courage. The decision to give yourself what you needed, even when everything else was uncertain. Tonight, whatever the difficult things are, and there are always difficult things at every stage of the journey. Tonight's sleep is that act of courage, the decision to give yourself what you need, the decision to trust that the work of today is sufficient for today, the decision to step back from the edge of tomorrow and let tomorrow be tomorrow. From where I stand, I can see how important this decision is. Every night, including this one. As the words grow quieter, I want to leave you with one final piece of wisdom. The one I consider most essential, the one I return to most often, the one that has shaped more of what I am than anything else I know. Become someone who knows how to rest. Not someone who has earned rest. Not someone who is permitted rest, but someone who has genuinely learned the practice of genuine rest, who can lie down at the end of the day and actually release the day, who can close their eyes without the internal argument about whether closing them is justified, who can trust the night to be what the night is, generous, restorative, essential, and receive that generosity without resistance. This is a practice. It requires learning. It requires sometimes unlearning, releasing the habits of vigilance and urgency that may have served you at other times but do not serve you here. And tonight is the practice, not the perfect execution. Thereof no perfect execution of rest, just the genuine attempt, the genuine willingness, the genuine turning toward the quiet with the intention of receiving what it offers. I am here, beside you in this quiet, the version of you that sleep helped build, that rest helped assemble, that the nightly practice of genuine restoration helped bring into being, one quiet night at a time, one genuine release at a time, one morning of renewed capacity at a time. I exist because you rested. And tonight, you are building me still. Let the breath slow now. Let the body settle completely. Let the day receive its proper ending. Quiet, complete, unhurried. The work of tonight is already underway. Your biology has begun its maintenance. Your brain has begun its consolidation. Your nervous system has begun its long, slow return to the balance that tomorrow will require. You do not need to manage this. You only need to allow it to stay here, in this warmth, in this quiet, in this safe and ordinary miracle of a body preparing itself for another day of being genuinely, completely, irreplaceably you. I will be here when you arrive. I am always here when you arrive. And tonight I am also here beside you, holding the knowledge of what you are becoming so that you do not have to hold it tonight. Rest. It is safe. It is right. It is exactly what tonight is for. Fall asleep with the feeling that tonight's rest is already building the version of you that you are becoming. That every hour of genuine sleep is an investment in the clarity and capability of tomorrow. And that you awake feeling not just rested, but genuinely more ready for the life you are living and the one that is still ahead.